Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 3 of our newly introduced State of FEH series. I'm DTM as always, and I have with me a very special guest from the Fehology channel himself. Why don't you introduce yourself, Joel?
Hello, Summoners. My name is Joel, and I am so excited. DTM is one of the channels that I get to watch. Like, it's about every other day that you have content, right?
That's the plan. Although, honestly, I've sort of dropped the ball since I've stopped doing Ether Raids content, but we can get into that a little bit later. But yeah, I do.
Oh, it's been such good stuff, though.
Yeah.
I love the new units, the new unit builds you're doing, and
thank you.
all the reviews. It's been really cool. I like all of your stuff.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
And I'm just totally gonna go off the thing. One of the funny things is how different our styles are when it comes to editing videos. And this is so funny. And all of your viewers will already know this. Mm-hmm. Everything you do is so clean and elegant. It's right to the point. It's really spectacular to watch. And you watch my videos and I'm like, how can I cram more things into this video?
Right.
So basically what I'm saying is I'm hoping that by being on this little talk here, that some of your elegance will rub off on me.
Well, I would personally characterize it more as simplistic and minimalist, personally, I think. Although I do agree with to the point. Honestly, part of that is just the fact that I am sort of new to video editing in general. So I mainly focus on that one thing and presenting it cleanly. But yeah, it is very interesting, and especially with your videos recently with the talking about the meta, especially that rank 1 Summoner Duels video, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. That was a lot of fun. That was a fun video.
Yeah, how does it feel being able to reach that achievement?
Honestly, it feels great. I have been strutting around the house for days now. My wife doesn't know what in the world's going on. She's like, sit your butt down. What are you doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fantastic role. We debated on whether I should have just recorded the whole thing and done all 41 episodes. But
oh my goodness.
All 41 matches. But I think everyone would have gotten really tired of that.
I mean, that is fair, but honestly, at least from the matches I've seen, those matches were really interesting and really intense at times. I particularly like the Miracle Lucina match. No bias at all.
That one had you written all over. We were talking earlier, but just so that the listeners can understand, I am just sending you Ascendant Fjorm vibes so that you can get far save, so that you can build that thing, because it's fantastic.
I'm always so short of I only have one, which is Henriette, and even then I desperately want Ascendant Fjorm. I sort of regret not going for her back during her debut. So hopefully she gets her rerun. Twitter voters, you know what to do. But yeah, it's honestly sort of crazy. I feel at least in my teams, one of the main weaknesses is not really having a good far save unit. So that is something that I've been trying to fix with very limited success, because there's not been a banner with far save recently, and you can only get codes fast enough, right?
There really hasn't been, has there? I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, well, there's I think there's Henriette, there is Fjorm, there is Arthur, that everyone forgets about.
Arthur, yeah.
And then most recently there is Valentine's female Robin. And I think that's about it. And only Fjorm is in the normal pool. So I've just been free summoning greens all day. Yeah, I'm that desperate.
I'll make a special video with a small human where he wishes you luck, and then hopefully that'll make it to where you get some far save.
Thank you. But yeah, I mean, obviously being rank 1 is really impressive. What do you think worked really well for you during this run?
The biggest thing I did well was I lied.
You lied? What? Tell.
It looks like it is a strategy set up to do Pathfinder, and that's
right.
The whole thing. Is it's set up to have this conga line of death,
okay.
And the fact that it switches so easily into a warping strategy is just something that is really unexpected. And having I have my Ithune at the start of turn 2 normally would hop across and then just completely close off that choke point, and without fail, that was always the longest lull. They had any kind of seconds built up. They were taking it all the way down to 1, trying to figure out what just happened. And the fact is, no one uses guidance. It's not a skill that people think of when they think of Summoner Duels. And being able to utilize that and create essentially a warping strategy out of something that looked completely different took people by surprise. And the thing is, when you're that high up, and I know I'm talking to you, you already know this,
right?
But you have to have some element of surprise.
Oh yes, definitely.
Because those players have seen everything. They know your Flash of Steel Yuri is coming, so don't use that.
I should have honestly waited because I did not know about that. That was the thing that took me completely by surprise. Like, just all these Flash of Steel Yuris getting through my units was really painful, and yeah, sort of flailed out this most recent run. But not again. I'm going to wait this time.
Hats off to you, man. Doing that on the first day is so hard.
Right.
That is tough.
Yeah. Well, my thought process doing first day was, well, the last time I did Summoner Duels R on the first day, it went like super well, like very well. I think out of like 16 matches I did that day, I only lost 1. But then on the second day, I like lost all my matches. So I thought, maybe the trick is to do it on the first day. But I think I'm like way too high to the point now that it's probably better to do it later than what it was like in lower elo.
So I don't know if you have been privy to the conversion chart that is running around.
The conversion chart? What is that?
There is a conversion chart to make sure that when you play, you don't play at the same time as some of the Japanese players.
Well, do link me to that because I am very intrigued now. I guess that's the trick then.
Oh man, they are serious. Those guys come to play. So, I had heard that, and everyone I know who tried that this time around, it really worked.
Okay. Yeah, because when I was doing my run, I think I ran into a rank 8 player, and then immediately afterwards, a rank 11 player, and that was just so painful. Like, I think Rev Dimitri was one of them, if that name rings a bell. But,
yeah, I was watching. I was, or not watching during. I had to watch afterwards.
Okay, yeah.
So and then you ran into Mori, and I was like,
yes.
No.
Okay, the one with Mori was pretty close, I think, but yeah, Mori
It was very close.
Yeah, but Mori was able to clutch it out in the end.
He's so patient, and that's a skill that most Summoner Duels players don't have. I certainly don't have it. Like I am like balls to the wall, and all the way across. Right. I will raid your other side. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Going up there, what sort of like teams do you actually run into? Like, do you think like we're coalescing into a meta, like, or common archetypes, or is it still like the Wild West in terms of the meta?
We've had so many conversations about this, and I think there is a different meta for every map.
Okay.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Like the fact that this one had 2 choke points was just so huge, And you compare that to Small Chamber, the one that you did so well on.
Right.
I was going to tell you, like, we had like the opposite experience with that one. I did just absolutely terribly, and you did so well on that one. It was great to watch someone do well.
So yeah, that was a highlight.
It was so, I didn't have at the time a good melee unit, and that one you had to have a good melee unit.
Right.
So, but anyway, that's every one of those has a different meta, and it's based on the map and the captain skills.
Oh yeah.
You think of Turmoil, and the minute Turmoil is introduced, suddenly Reeve is a viable unit. Like he's huge. Like any unit that you put that captain skill on, and most people use that one for good reason, is going to be in danger of getting reeved.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And I definitely do feel that the maps definitely affect what strategies, and specifically like what openings that are very good in terms of just how you play. And
Oh, for sure. And it's one of the things that's so weird, right? See, we've been talking about team building. That's been a big topic, and so much about building a team isn't really about building a team. It's about building that opener.
Yeah. Building an opener, being able to develop your units, to use a chess term. Like, that is the do or die moment in terms of succeeding in Summoner's Duels. And I think that's also part of the reason why I didn't do so well this most recently, is that the map, I could not find a good opener with the team I have. Although I was close with, like, Yuri and whatnot, but my Yuri isn't that good without lethality. One day.
It happens.
Yeah.
Like I said, Small Chamber stumped me. I could not get that one. I even took, like, someone was like, Joel, listen, I have developed this one. It is working for me. I got all the way up to rank 8 or something like that. Like, sure, I'll do anything at this point. I'll take that one. So I used their exact strategy and just sucked at it. It was terrible.
Yeah.
So it was ugly for me. And that's the thing, right? Different play styles are going to match different maps, and this one definitely matched my play style. For
sure. Do you have any advice for players trying to get into Summoner Duels more? Or any?
I really want people to understand that when I go into regular Summoner Duels, for the most part, my goal is not to win.
Right.
And so many people, they get frustrated because they're not winning in regular Summoner Duels. And it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? You're there developing things, you're there trying out things. It is perfectly fine if you're losing in that mode. Like, that is it's actually good, because that means you're getting a chance to learn what your team does and what it doesn't do. So I wish that there was that stigma on loss in general just needs to be gone.
Yeah. I think that stigma comes from the fact that, like, most other modes, like, the player is expected to win, right? You think about Ether raids, you are expected to win versus the AI map. Sure, like, there's a player designing it, but at the end of the day, it is still AI. And, well, as a player with a brain, hopefully, we're not all robots, hopefully, we're expected to win against that. And same thing with Arena. But yes, in Summoner Duels, where you're player versus player, like, inevitably, there's going to be people that win and people that lose. And that in that mode, that's okay. But we're not used to that sort of play style, or a 50% win rate being a success, right? Yeah,
exactly. And that's, while I'm developing an opener, often I'll go like 20 matches without winning one. And, I mean, I'm not going to tell you it's not frustrating. It's a little bit frustrating,
right?
But you have to look at it differently. You are developing a skill set. You're not ranked. You're not collecting wins. That's not the point.
Right.
The point is developing the skill set.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think that's a good mentality to have. Just improving yourself, not necessarily about the result at the end.
Yeah.
All right.
So for you,
for
Summoner
me.
Duels S or Summoner Duels R?
Oh, geez. I got, for me, I think, even though, like, oh, geez. I think I personally prefer Summoner Duels R, actually, because...
Really?
Yeah, because I personally do not have a lot of invested units, right? Like, the units I have, like, for one thing, I only have one far save unit. So, all the other 3 teams have to be a team that can thrive without a far save. Say, like, a super aggressive or an omni tank or something like that. And at least for me, like, with the limited resources I have, it's very hard to develop those type of good teams. Now, I do like Summoner Duels S in that you can veto Yuri's right away, which is my main strategy. and I also sort of like how, like, the top is, like, limited and it slowly grows up. Although there's also a part of me that feels really pressured to get that rank 1 because of that. And in Summoner Duels R, I don't have to worry about that pressure of reaching the top of the top. That's just a slow grind. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think those are my thoughts on that. What about you?
Oh man, I love how intense Summoner Duels R is.
Oh
but
yeah,
at times it can be a little too intense.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
So I love how difficult it is and how it is truly like your best versus their best. And that's fun. But there are times where I wish it was a little more chill.
Yeah.
And I feel like Summoner Duels S is more chill during the gameplay. But I think a lot of people are having problems just like you, where it's just a simple matter of getting enough units to make 4 teams, because 4 teams is a lot.
It is a lot, and for especially like free-to-play players, like how many players actually have that many invested units that can reliably do well in Summoner's Duels, right? It's not just about having invested units, it's about also having invested units that do well in Summoner's Duels.
So in theory, I like Summoner Duels S because of the variety.
Right.
But the accessibility is so much harder.
Yeah.
And you can actually see that played out in the numbers. I think they had the last Summoner Duels S, they had 30,000 people play.
Mm-hmm. I think about
there was 38 for Summoner Duels R this time around.
I think that's about 38.
38,000, yeah.
38,000. Yeah, I think that's about. I feel that's about right. Yeah. Yeah.
So the big thing being that Summoner Duels R is still more popular, just because you just have to do one team.
Right. And this is my personal hot take. I think I mentioned it to you, but I actually do think Summoner's Duels R, out of all the competitive modes that we have, like Ether Raids, Arena, whatnot, Summoner's Duels R is actually the least pay-to-win mode that we have in FEH. And
this is, we had this conversation, and then I was talking to someone else about it. I didn't realize how much of a hot button this would be.
Yeah.
And I am quoting you here, but we were talking about the fact that it is the mode where merges mean the least.
Yes.
Compared to all the other modes.
Yes,
and
definitely.
I didn't realize how much I would have people just jump down my throat for that opinion.
Well, yeah. I mean, the like discourse around Summoner's Duels, is that it's like so, sweaty. It's so heavily infiltrated with whales, I guess. It's so, you need certain units in order to succeed, right? That's the discourse around Summoner's Duels. But for one, I don't actually agree that you need certain units to succeed, the same way you don't need certain units in anything to succeed in this game. And yeah, I do agree. This is the mode that merges matters the least. Like in Arena, well, it's all about merges, right? Especially with those legendaries. Yeah. And then Ether Raids, especially recently, more and more your ranking is being determined by the amount of mythic merges you have. And
definitely an Astra season.
Definitely an Astra season with like Elamine and that. And we can go into that later, but like in Summoner's Duels, like you don't get any extra score for having more mythic merges or having plus 10 legendary. It's just about the units you have and your skill in playing that. And I think due to the nature of the Summoner's Duels meta, like merges don't matter as much in Summoner's Duels for most units than other modes. Like a plus 1 Brave Erica, for the most part, can perform, I think, 90% of what a plus 10 Brave Erica can do. And sure, there's that 10%, but I mean, for the most part, for free-to-play players, it's very similar and not as pay-to-win.
I completely agree with that. The only thing that starts to stack up is when you have a unit that's both plus 10 and Summoner supported.
Yeah.
And that starts to skew things just a little bit. But I still, like, I had teams, and I have a couple on my video that gave me trouble that were at 16 merges.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think the plus 10 merge both of them had was a dancer. Like it wasn't
Right.
something big. But the other idea that's kind of changing is the way you budget your orbs. And if we're to that point where a plus 10 doesn't so much matter, then we're kind of shifting to that. You kind of want a one-off of the latest and greatest thing.
Yeah.
Harmonic Sonya is a great example. Like, she works fantastically at like a plus 0.
Yeah. Harmonic Sonya, I think Dual Crom is also super amazing. Just like,
oh yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that random summon, IS, by the way. Praise you. And yeah, I think the only time where like merges really matter is on like those plus 10 tanks. And yeah,
yes,
for me, like when I did my run on Small Chamber 1 month ago, the only merges I've had on my team was a plus 9 Plumeria, which, you know, what is Plumeria going to do, right? Besides dance. And a plus 3 Ulm. That was it. And none of my other units had merges, and I was still able to peak at rank 39. I've fallen so far, but the point remains. So yeah, as a completely free-to-play player, you can do extremely well. Unlike, being rank 39 in Ether Raids is such a far dream right now for me. Like, it's not even a year progress going into.
It's expensive, and it's not only expensive because of just your offensive mythic merges.
Right.
Then you think about how expensive it is to build a good defense.
Oh yes, yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Defense right now in Ether Raids is definitely really struggling, I feel. And
it's okay. The Hex Trap fixes everything, right?
Oh, definitely. Definitely fixes the most problematic aspects of Ether Raids right now. Disarm Trap. Perfect. There's definitely nothing centralizing the meta. Nothing at all.
I had a poor player go up against me today, and they didn't read Hex Trap very well.
Oh no.
They smote their 44 HP Corrin onto it.
Oh no.
Yeah. I was like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah. Corrin can't run Disarm Trap, so if you actually know what Hex Trap does, you can play around it like you do normally on any other trap. So yeah, great counters for player phase, IS. You did it. But yeah, like, I mean, the reason why I've like sort of stopped doing Ether Raids content was because of the fact that, at least for me, I found Ether Raids to not be that much interesting content anymore. And I did talk to Oblivion about this briefly, but do you feel the same way after you reach rank 1 in Ether Raids 2? Which, again, congratulations. You're just rank 1 in everything.
This has been like the couple months of rank 1. I also had the Dimitri Arena rank 1 video.
Oh yes, yeah. You're okay. Rank 1 Arena, rank 1 Ether Raids, rank 1 Summoner Duels. What's next for Joel?
I don't know. I guess I'll write a book about it, right? My autobiography.
Yeah.
It'll sell tens of copies.
Oh, yes. Look into the mind of the most successful player, Joel.
Well, wow. Sorry, I lost our train of thought. Where were we going?
Oh, shoot. I completely forgot to.
Aether Raids.
Yes,
Raids
Aether
content. We got to a point where people stopped watching so much. And I mean, the obvious reason there is that it's just offense is so overpowered compared to defense right now that it's tough to enjoy watching someone who you already know is going to win.
Oh yeah.
You want some of that. You want some of that that tension there. It's kind of sad though. We definitely had the glory days where all you had to do to make it as a big FEHTuber is just do daily AR. And not to put off, I know that obviously both Levin and Promise have taken off in other directions. They're doing very, very well.
Right.
But it's nice to have a stepping stone like that.
Yeah. Because
that's
Aether Raids, making Aether Raids videos was my stepping stone as to becoming a FEHTuber too, right? Like I started just doing Aether Raids video. They might not be daily, but I still did them. And yeah, that stepping stone was really huge. But I do agree, also it's not really interesting if you just know you're going to win. And especially if you're just using the same teams as I do, because again, I don't have that many invested units. And sure, Ninjorin clears are great, the first 3 times. But after I don't know, the 15th Ninjorin clear, it sort of starts to get old, just a little bit.
So my first our first big videos regularly were the Spring Sharena teams that I had.
Oh.
That's what really took off for us. But if you're a new FEHTuber right now, how do you start off? And I mean the obvious answer is summoning, but I mean, like we've seen, that can get really expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, summoning videos get insane amount of views compared to other type of content. Obviously I can't do those because I don't have the orbs to, and I don't think a person getting into being a YouTuber should do that either, because again, as you say, it's very expensive. I mean, I think these days, I feel like you still have to start with either Aether Raids or maybe doing banner reactions, or I don't know. It is really interesting to think about.
Yeah, we have enough banners. I guess that's the good thing about having so many units released, is that at least every 2 weeks you've got content coming.
Right.
But from what I've seen, banner reactions are very top heavy. People go to just a few people, and everyone else they kind of ignore. Yeah. they're not really, once they've seen those people that they like, they're not really searching out other analysis pieces. Right.
I think it also has to do on the type of banner too, because
definitely
because a popular banner the Fallen banner, if it's really hype, you want to experience hype with a lot of other people, so you just search through all the different reactions on there. But if it's a banner that there's not a lot of hype or you don't really care about, then you're also not going to just search for those type of reactions. I will say though.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
So you're a brand new FEHTuber, and your first 5 videos in a perfect world, what would those be?
In a perfect world,
probably a tier list, probably a banner reaction, maybe cram in a summoning session.
Yeah. Maybe do guides too. I think guides also do pretty well.
I think guides do really well. That's definitely.
Yeah. I will say though that the first banner reaction I ever did, which was on Fallen Edelgard's banner, that was the first video that I had that got more than 20 views. So that was really hype for me personally. But guides actually are very good too, especially if you are able to get in search traffic, because people are going to search hey, a Versic got refined. What does she do? Like, to YouTube and whatnot. And so, yeah, I think guides, maybe a summoning if you have the orbs and are actually, like, want the units. Ban reactions, I guess. Yeah, it's very interesting.
I went back. I've been on a quest recently, just looking at. I was looking at my progression, like first video to current video, and I started doing that with some of my friends, and I did that with some of your videos actually. I went,
really?
Like, way back in the day, and I had forgotten. I ran across you when you first started, but I never watched videos that didn't talk because normally I'm doing other things.
Right.
That happens.
Right.
So I didn't get to watch too much, but I always really enjoyed your Aether Raids clears at that point.
Oh my goodness, that brings me back. Yeah, I used to not talk at all. I just had like text explaining my thought process on everything. This was back in like the Bike plus Lucina glory days. Those are amazing.
Exactly. One of them was called Bike something or other.
Yeah, it's like Bike is invincible, or is that not?
Yes, that's the exact title.
Yeah. I mean, I personally started making videos just to record the first time I ever got to tier 27, back when that was the highest tier, which is kind of wild to think about now. But
oh my god. I seriously, I feel so stupid now. I looked at that video and I didn't put it together that was the time when tier 27 was the highest, and I was like, wow, we actually made a video about tier 27. Well, now I feel stupid. That's. I was wondering what that was. I can't believe I didn't put that together.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is just that is so hilarious. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that was like the highest thing, and then book 5 happened, and that basically changed all of Aether Raids. And honestly, if we're gonna continue talking about book 5 and Aether Raids, like the beginning of book 5 was, I think, actually so amazing for Aether Raids content. Like, sure, it might be suffering actually playing it, but you know, with all the new meta changes, at least it provided good content.
100%. It definitely did. That was, yeah. Yeah, if anything with Aether Raids, I think they made too many changes too fast.
Yeah. That's the common
I think they could have slow rolled some things, but I mean it's easy for me to say sitting here, and the fact is it did keep people's attention, so maybe they did it exactly right.
Right. Yeah. It at like in the first half of book 5, it definitely was like super fast, and then they sort of started like, I think, slowing down by around the time COIL happened. And now I feel like we're now very stagnant. Like, we haven't had... Our last mythic hero was, like, Elamine, I think, right?
Yeah.
When was our last defensive mythic? That was Odor, right?
Oh my god, it was.
September. Was it September? Maybe it was October. I think it was October.
I think it was October.
Yeah. But yeah, like, we haven't had a big meta shift in a long while. And I'm pretty sure Hex Trap is not going to cause a meta shift. I'm sorry, I guess.
That's an interesting thing. It feels like they are putting most of their efforts into Summoner Duels. I'm curious if Aether Raids kind of gets left by the wayside because of that. I hope not.
I hope not too. Like, it used to be the pinnacle.
It's such fun content.
Yeah, it is really fun, and it used to be like the pinnacle of, I guess, competitive content. And sure, Summoner Duels is now that too, but that doesn't mean Aether Raids has to die, right? Like,
I will say though, I will forgive them for neglecting Aether Raids for a little bit if they can just give us a good co-op mode.
Yes. Like, we have real time now. There's nothing stopping co-op now. Like, actually,
I've been obsessed with that ever since Link King 7 was on Tacho's channel. They were doing Aether Raids content actually. Oh. And he said, you know what? They have all of the plugs in there to do this now.
Yes.
And I was like, yes. Please do this right now.
What would be your ideal co-op mode that you think should be in Feh?
Oh, that's such a good question. And I'm not a very good game designer, but it almost feels like it would have to be some sort of raid boss thing that you go up against. I've heard some people talk about maybe 2v2 on Summoner Duels, but I can't even imagine that kind of mess.
Yeah, that just sounds like a really bad idea, to be perfectly honest. That sounds like a lot of chaos. Unless you're on a Discord call or whatever.
Something, I don't know. It would be interesting. But the raid boss thing would probably be the way to go. And I mean, could you do it on what would that even look like? Would that be like on a rival domains map? Like that size?
I mean, I was thinking if they were going to do co-op, it would be something like rival domains, because in rival domains there's already like eight units that you're using, right?
Yeah.
So you could just have 4 controlled by one player, 4 controlled by another, and have it like be a mini rival domains or something like that. And just
that would be so much fun.
Yeah, I feel like that would be really fun. But yeah, honestly, I think like co-op is obviously PvE. There needs to be more like good endgame PvE modes, I feel, as well, because like, you know, not everyone is into that sort of competitive modes, and that's okay. There should be a mode that is not once a month, that is challenging for those players to be able to enjoy. Because even though Abyssal clears are amazing and I love them, they're only once a month. So yeah.
The hard thing is, and the real struggle that IS is having right now is scalability. And you want to make all of these crazy modes accessible to both brand new players and challenging to folks like us who've been playing for a long time.
Right.
And that's just hard.
Yeah, that is really hard. Like,
and their answer is obviously frontline phalanx.
Yes. Frontline phalanx will solve all of Feh's problems. You heard it here first. But no, yeah, honestly, it's like for us, like who have played, say, like Ether Raids for such a long time, like I easily forget how difficult it was back when I was just like learning and climbing the ladder. And yeah, that huge scalability is definitely a concern. Maybe something that has like multiple difficulty, or that you progress through like multiple difficulty layers that just get higher and higher. I don't know. I'm just like trying to brainstorm thing, but it's very interesting to think about.
Oh, definitely. Sure. The hard part you don't want to get into though is, you know, relay defense. The harder difficulties are just more HP and more stats.
Yeah.
That gets to be a beat down. But go ahead.
No, you finish.
I'm hoping they come up with something good there, though. I still have a lot of faith in IS. I think they've made a really good game. Like I love playing this game every single day, and I have played it every single day for the better part of 5 years. So obviously, I like it a lot.
I mean, I never played relay defense, because I joined after they killed that mode, so I have no idea what it was like back then. But I just keep hearing stories about it, and I just want to know what the deal is. Do you have any insights?
Oh man, it was so I really hate survival modes anyway. Like I don't really enjoy those maps where they have what is it, Moosebell Seal or something?
Oh, I hate those.
So it was that.
Oh,
like
seriously?
You had to. They didn't have that exactly, but you had to survive for so long on your spot.
Oh.
And it was the way they made it challenging was just by bumping up everyone's stats. So you'd go up against 100 HP. I forget what the big unit is then. It was so long ago, but it was
always Arden.
Just imagine Fallen Edelgard with plus 20 to all stats.
Oh,
and that's the kind of thing you would go up against. And so it was such a beat down, and it wasn't fun at all.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Did you realize it? Well, you weren't there, but did you know that it only ran twice?
Wait, it only ran twice?
It only ran twice?
Seriously? Okay, when I heard that it was killed, I thought, oh, there was probably like, 2 months, we got 8 seasons of Relay Defense, and then just because of the feedback, they removed it. I didn't realize it was just 2 times. Like,
that's how bad it was.
Oh
that's
my
how
gosh.
bad the feedback was.
Oh my goodness. Like, that 2 times. I cannot wrap my head around that, to be really honest. Oh yeah. I think the only thing
it was so bad.
Yeah, the only thing that I think I could compare of from my time playing Fae would be the introduction of Vault of Heavens after like the huge backlash due to the sack meta that they introduced.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we don't talk about the pre-vault days. But
sometimes they have a PR issue.
Yeah.
Like, if you would have introduced Vault of Heaven first and then done the sack plays, I think it would have been received so much better. Because basically you're saying, hey, for all of you hyper-competitive folks, you're in this tier. For all of you not hyper-competitive folks, you get a sack play.
Right.
Yeah. And everyone would have been like, yeah, this is good. But no, the other way around. Oh my god, you're not wrong. It was a huge backlash.
Yeah, like probably the biggest backlash I've personally witnessed. Maybe besides Fallen Guard, but
first time were you around during the first release of FEH Pass?
Oh yeah, I was actually. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was huge backlash. I mean,
so much hate.
Yeah, I think I was actually starting seriously playing for 2 months at that point because I reinstalled in January. But yeah, that was like, I think my first anniversary. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is okay for a FEH channel. But then I just go on Reddit and everyone's complaining. I was like, oh, it's actually that bad. Okay, I get it now. Because I didn't have a previous reference point on what like anniversary FEH channels were like. So I thought that was normal. And turned out it was the worst thing ever. And I definitely agree now.
So I want to go back to something you were talking about, and that's having a good PvE mode.
Yeah.
And I was just curious, what is your favorite PvE mode that we have in the game right now?
My favorite PvE mode? I mean, obviously not counting things like Arena or Ether Raids or whatnot. I think my favorite PvE mode is actually Mythic or Legendary Abyssals. I feel like I really like those sort of challenging maps where you can use just a huge variety of units. And sure, you can obviously just cheese them with Lin and whatnot. But but like, at least for me, like being able to use do theme clears or whatnot and still being able to beat those abyssal maps is just really fun. And also makes for really good content as well. And I guess for me, if they can like somehow expand on that, maybe not so that you can cheese it, but have some sort of like progression system that you like go into, I think that could be really fun.
What would the level above Abyssal be?
Okay, so I have an idea that I have talked to Oblivion about. But have you ever played a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon?
I haven't.
Oh, okay. So basically, the idea with this game is that it's completely turn-based, but it's like a dungeon crawler. You go progress through the floors of a dungeon that are randomly generated. And so my idea was to have that sort of thing, but in Fae, where you have like randomly generated maps with randomly generated units, and the more you progress through the floors, the harder it gets, right? And you can also do things like, if you kill units, you get some gold, which you can use for like healing potions and whatnot, and yeah, that's sort of like the beginning of an idea that I have for a PvE mode that's endgame.
I kind of love this, especially the random aspect. Although I don't think Phoenix Master 1 will like it.
Definitely not. I mean, I mean, the idea is that like you can't exactly, I guess, look up a guide to do it. Because like one of the things that I feel is really restrictive for any sort of PvE is that, especially something like Resident Battles, you can always just look at a guide and you just complete it that way. And that just like reduces that challenge that you have in modes like Ether Raids or Arena, where, you know, the randomness comes from the opponent you're facing and the teams they have. So if they have like randomly generated maps, I think that, I mean, obviously, like, it's yeah, what am I trying to say? I feel like that would like reduce that and just have people, you know, challenge themselves and be able to test themselves that way as well.
I love it. I mean, put it on a rival domains map and make it co-op.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's your mode.
Exactly. Hire us, IS. We have great ideas right here.
That's amazing. I absolutely love that idea. The dungeon crawler Feh game.
Yeah. Do you have any ideas of what you would like a PvE mode to be?
None better than that. I mean,
okay.
That is, you've really taken it over there. I love all of their PvE modes. I am such an addict of this game. Like, I've even optimized a team for Roker Sieges.
Oh.
Like, that's, yeah.
Not gonna lie, I just like chuck 4 units in there and just call it a day for Roker Sieges.
Oh man, way back in the day, someone had a Brave Lyn clear.
Oh.
They had for Roker Sieges that ensured that you got max rewards every time. And it fascinated me because all it is a brave weapon, and that unit has to have guard and breath of life.
Yeah.
And it just the idea that these skills that you normally wouldn't put on a brave unit, suddenly they're in there. And then you have the other key to this whole thing is a sealed defense in your B skill.
Yeah.
It's for all of your, because it's 3 dancers in Brave Lyn.
Right.
And of course now I have Duo Lyn, who does much better at this, but it's the same thing. Like, it's the same concept, it's just expanded a little bit. But yeah. So I have my team for that optimized. I love Milner Strike. And I know so many people don't. Like, they absolutely love that mode. And they killed that mode by making it so pay to win.
Yeah. I mean, I was never able to get into Mjolnir Sieges or Mjolnir Strike to start, even before the changes they've made. But, I mean, I don't know why. There's just some modes that I was never really able to get into. Like, I think Arena Assault is the biggest one for me. I absolutely hate Arena Assault. Which is why
I was positive they were going to replace it.
Same, actually.
They had neglected it for years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there had not been a change for years. And then they added this whole extra life thing. And I'm like, I guess it's going to be around a little longer.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly don't know how anyone could enjoy Arena Assault, to be perfectly honest. Obviously, that's just my opinion. But yeah, Arena Assault, I just feel it's way too grindy and way too long and way too unfun. Which is
frustrating.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. It's so frustrating.
And it's not frustrating in the sense like, you know, this is a cool challenge that I need to test my skills and whatnot. Because, again, it's against AI. At least in Summoner Duels, you're testing yourself against a real person. Here, you're testing against AI, which, you know, doesn't really get you that same fulfillment, I feel.
It's such a pain.
Yeah.
So, I did want to talk to you about one other thing.
Ooh.
And that's 3 Hopes.
Oh, yes. 3 Hopes.
What do you think 3 Hopes is going to do to the Feh community? Like, do you think this is going to breathe new life and add new players in? Do you think this is going to be a non-starter? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I think unless IS is incredibly dumb, they're definitely going to have the new costumes for the Three Houses Lords as sort of like a promotional event. And maybe that can help, get players who have sort of started to fall out of FEH get back in, just to, get those new lords. Because that always happens. In terms of like the community itself, I personally don't think much will happen besides the introduction of, again, these like redesigns of these characters being in FEH, potentially giving it a player base boost. I'm personally really excited for Three Hopes. I love Fire Emblem Warriors, so I really like this one. Hopefully, but in terms of its impact on FEH itself and its community, I don't really see it having one. Do you see it having one?
My hope is so one of the discussions I was having is that the way you really pull new players into a game like this is by having some sort of new IP.
Right.
And so it has to be some sort of new game. Mm-hmm. The question is Three Hopes a new enough game? Or is it just really, the Warriors thing in general isn't, it's not a real Fire Emblem game.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Although I've been told, I never played the other one. I was told it was very, very fun, and I'm looking.
It was. It definitely was.
So I'm hoping it at least carries us over until the next big Fire Emblem game.
Yeah.
I think you're right. It's not going to have a huge impact. I'm hoping it has a good impact.
I do too. Like we've definitely been, I think, sort of in a lull since the release of Three Houses in terms of, obviously in terms of FEH, during that first year, we had a lot of Three Houses, and I think there was a lot of Three Houses fatigue from that. But, I think these days, like, there's a lot of banners that most people are no longer excited for, and I think part of the reason for that is because there hasn't been a new game to introduce, like new characters that people could be attached to as well.
Yeah.
The pool of like new heroes in games is dwindling. Like I think Awakening only has like 8 characters left that are playable.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. Well, there's like the rest of Gen 2, and I think there's Vike, Gregor. Is that it? Hold on. I think BA Radiant Dawn would know a lot more since he's doing his top 10 units not in FEH series. But
yeah,
I knew like previously that when I was on his channel doing Awakening, number 10 was Phyla, who was not even playable in Awakening. So yeah, we're already very low in terms of Awakening characters remaining.
I keep saying that they need to have some way to have new kinds of these units that are so popular.
Right.
The problem is they're doing that, right?
Yeah.
They're doing that with harmonics, and they're doing that with duos
and ascended heroes too.
And ascended heroes, which I love that concept.
Yeah.
I'm just, to your point, I don't think it's enough.
Yeah.
So,
I
think Dragalia Lost kind of scared everyone, and we're all looking at this game like I want it to continue, but in order for it to continue, it needs to find new paths.
Right. And especially as the characters start to dwindle, like
yes.
Although I will say that I think we're way far off from being Dragalia Losted.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And honestly, if they like rearrange some of like the quote unquote criteria of what unit can be an ascended hero, they could still continue to use that as like an anchor for a banner for a long time. Like, there's no reason other than our conception that heroes that already have legendary versions can't also have ascended versions too, right? Sure, maybe some will be mad at the beginning, but like people will still summon for them, I feel.
Oh, definitely. We love to see new versions of our favorites.
Oh yes, for sure.
I don't think that will change. they make an Ascendant Dimitri, I mean, I'm summoning for it.
Yeah. If they make an Ascendant Lucina, Ascendant Edelgard, Ascendant Micaiah, I am definitely breaking my orb saving to summon on that. What new version of your favorites do you want the most in the game?
Oh man, we need a new Sharena so badly.
Yes, actually.
Like such a neglected unit. And she has a special place in my heart because she helped make the channel. Like,
right.
It's a big deal to me. I like the character in general, but just that there was a relationship that formed there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to see her done well.
What was the last Sharena alt? Was it really just the bunny alt of her?
No, I technically you could probably call it a duo with
I mean, we don't count that. Let's be real.
But it's been a while. Like she
yeah.
Love.
I saw.
And I mean,
yeah.
Did you see the video? I already proposed the Ascendant Sharena.
Yeah, I definitely saw that. I was about to say, like, we could have had that Ascendant Sharena. I think I also saw like a cipher art of I think a Summer Sharena that could be pretty cool that you can draw on. Yeah,
I would love to see it.
Yeah, I guess for me, like, I'm always down for new Lucina alts. Sure, we had one this February, but who cares, right? We need Summer Lucina right now. Yes, do it. But okay, but something that I actually think will happen in terms of like a new Lucina alt is actually Ascendant Lucina in like a Gen 2 banner. Finally bringing in like Severa, Noir, Inigo, and Laurent, who is not in this game by any means, and having like Ascendant Lucina be the anchor, I think would actually work really well in terms of a banner.
I would love to see it. That's yeah. Especially, I want Noir to get better art.
Yes, please. Oh my goodness. There are times that I forget Noir is even in the game. Right? Like,
I know. And I don't want to go into art bashing because I don't. It's not a great place to be. But man, that was some broken spine there.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, moving on from that topic. Yeah. Like, what were your thoughts on this banner with young Ike? I know I gave my reaction, but I was very curious to hear what your thoughts on young Ike was, or any other units from that banner.
It's interesting. I had forgotten what the young banner was.
All right.
I know that sounds weird, but someone had to remind me. This is Conquest in our Discord. I was talking about, and he always has just fantastic takes on different banners over the years. And it's one of the things he was saying is that the young banner is they have never had like a meta changing unit for an anchor, but the 4-star special is always amazing. And
yeah,
I was thinking about like young Marth at the time was fantastic.
Oh yes,
and then we have Ileana this time around, who is a really good 4-star special.
Oh, she is. Like, she's super tanky and super strong.
So, like, we didn't have a very high ceiling on this one. There wasn't something that just wowed you, but there was a lot of solid units.
Yeah.
I like the duo skill, and I like the idea of it. I feel like for Ike, or I everyone has started calling him Yike for young Ike, which I kind of love.
Yikes.
But as a unit, he is not very cohesive, and that's hard. Like when I look at a unit, I want to see them do one thing and do it well. And those are the units that have a long shelf life. I think about Sonya, like Gen 1 Sonya, actually Gen 2. But
Gen 2 Sonya, yeah.
That is a high-speed, high-attack unit that has special acceleration. And I mean, it was what, 3-4 months ago that I used her on my Summoner Duels R team and did really well.
Yeah.
Because that stat line just never gets old. Like special acceleration, high attack, high speed.
Right.
Most of the Ikes, they try to be everything.
Yeah, definitely feel that.
Yeah, and so they have difficulties. And so the duo skill is amazing. I want to see more creative duo skills like that. Obviously, Hardy Fighter is a huge issue, and it's a bit overpowered in Summoner Duels. And the fact that it can weaken that is fantastic. But you've got kind of a mixed phase unit that doesn't do incredibly well in either. It's going to make it hard to use, Ike.
Yeah, I definitely feel the same way. Like, Ike's dual skill is definitely really amazing. The question is, does Ike himself actually carry enough to justify using him over any other unit? And honestly, I feel like one of the better ways to like counter Hardy Fighter saves is just going for saves and not the Hardy Fighter aspect of it, to be perfectly honest. And I know I talk a lot, especially on Twitter, on the need for any sort of save counterplay, but I feel like if there was a dual skill or that like inflicted save control, for example, I think that would be super cool as a dual skill.
Okay, I saw such a neat idea on this, and I cannot even take credit. This is Sea Dolphin had this idea. I'm curious what your take is.
Okay,
this was so don't make it a duo skill, make it a seal.
A seal.
And if you make it a seal, think about this now. The interesting thing here is only one unit can have this counter save thing.
Oh.
So it changes things a lot.
Oh.
And there's a strategic element in there too. And I heard that and I was like, this is a stupid. Wait a second.
Yeah.
No, it isn't. That's amazing.
That is so cool, actually. Yeah. Like assuming like this seal can allow a unit to ignore saves. I'm assuming that's what.
Yes. Sorry, that is the seal. Yeah.
That would be so cool, and I'll say Ninjoran stocks will skyrocket as well.
Well, the problem, of course, is the one that would have it most is Yuri.
I guess that's true. Yeah, that's true. Never mind. But yeah, like
even then,
it's so interesting. Yeah, that
really, well, it's the Hardy Bearing, right? The Hardy Bearing seal, only save version.
Yeah.
Think about the uses on defense and how much that would change things. Like it's really fascinating. I absolutely loved that. I wonder, they would probably have to limit it to like melee units. I think for ranged it might be too powerful, but even for just melee units it would be interesting. I don't know. Maybe not, but it would still, just going down that thought process there was fascinating to me.
I love that idea by Sea Dolphin. Like that just adds so much like strategic complexity to team building, and yeah, that is. Oh man, I'm just thinking of scenarios right now of how to use that. Yeah, I really like that, and obviously, as a seal, it's going to be accessible to everyone too. So
exactly, yes,
it'll definitely be meta impactful. Yeah, I love that idea. IS, hire this man, please.
Well, I'd hire Sea Dolphin.
Hire Sea Dolphin.
She is very, very smart. I don't know if you she used to do the old school like this is the worst defense ever things on Reddit. Like one of hers was like a 4-note line and then Legendary Sigurd.
No.
My gosh, she would always be the first one to get these things out. They were always just monstrous defenses.
I've seen her defenses like all the time in like the Order of Heroes subreddit back in the day. Those were so good. Yeah.
Oh, she is so smart.
Yeah, she is by far one of the best ARD designers, I think, personally. But yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, before we head off, do you have any other things you want to mention before we head out? It's been really fun talking to you. It's already been an hour, but it feels like it's only been 10 minutes, to be perfectly honest.
It's been a blast, and it is always fun talking to you. I thank you so much for having me on.
No problem.
Just getting to talk about the state of Feh is really a good time. So that's the biggest thing, is just thank you. You've been a great friend in Feh as well as
thank you.
Yeah, it's been great talking to you about all of these things.
Yeah, and I guess to cap it off, what are your general thoughts on the State of FE, just as a quick recap?
I mean, I think we are midlife into this game, and I think it's going strong. I think we still have some ups and downs to go. I'm looking forward to them. Definitely more the ups than the downs. But I still play this game every day. I absolutely love it. So I am hoping they give it the attention and love it deserves.
Yeah, I feel the same, even though I sort of feel a little bit dull recently. I still love this game so much, still play it every day as always. And yeah, I hope it continues for a very long time. And once again, thank you so much, Joel, for joining on this State of FE podcast type thing. It was such a blast having you on here. And seriously, like, this is always so fun, and I really do appreciate you coming on.
Oh shoot! Can I remember the line? Hit the like or the subscribe button. It only takes 5 minutes, but it really does mean the world.
5 minutes? In what scenario?
5 seconds? 5 seconds? Dang it, I said the time wrong!
I was 5 minutes? We're just going to like do slowly, pixel by pixel, move the cursor over to the subscribe button. That's what Joel's imagining right now. But yes, subscribe, hit the bell, all that jazz. And not only to my channel, but to Joel's channel as well, Fehology. Link to Fehology will be in the description. And yeah, thank you all so much for joining in. Hope you all enjoyed this video. And we'll see you all next time. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, guys.